What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm on Passchendaele today, playing the last of the 3 non-air assault maps coming out for our Apocalypse DLC. Gonna be bouncing around a little bit in this video, talking a bit about the map and a little bit about 2 weapons that are coming to the assault class. So there'll be a lot of the assault's perspective in this video, as you see me using the SMG 0818, which has had quite a significant buff on the CTE right now. So in the retail version of BF1 right now, the SMG 08 is firing at 450 rounds per minute, but in the CTE it's firing at 770 rounds per minute. So to give you a little bit of perspective, the Hellriegel fires at 650 rounds per minute and the Automatico fires at 900 rounds per minute. So DICE has thrown this weapon into the mix between the Hellriegel and the Automatico, which are 2 of the more popular submachine guns on Battlefield 1. So definitely pretty interesting what DICE has done here, as this weapon has normally been not too popular amongst the assault class players. So now what DICE try to do to kind of balance this off a little bit is there is a pretty heavy recoil pattern when it comes to using this gun. So I've talked about this before, that with the Hellriegel, if you really want to nerf that weapon, I've always thought about adding more recoil to that gun, as you see that in its defensive variant, that pretty much no one really uses that, as the recoil pattern is really heavy and it's very difficult to really control using that gun. So it seems like DICE has taken that approach for what we have on the CTE for the SMG 08, as it does have a higher rate of fire. So you would feel like, man, it's going to be, the new Hellriegel 2.0, as it has a substantial amount of ammo in it, but the recoil on it is definitely, pretty solid on this gun right now. So that is of course up to debate with a lot of people on these type of weapons, as this does bring up a lot of controversy when you do talk about the Hellriegel, the Automatico, of those nature. But if you want to bring in a new gun up into the mix of these 2 popular weapons, they've definitely done it with the SMG 08. So definitely not going to be the superior one-on-one submachine gun when it comes to the fire rate, as the Automatico is still going to reign supreme when it comes to that. However, it is going to keep up with the Automatico for the most part, and it is going to have that extra amount of ammo in it, which hopefully might help it out a little bit more if you want to play maybe with something that has a higher rate of fire than the Hellriegel, but you don't really like having that reload time that you have to deal with a lot with the Automatico's lack of ammo capacity. So now switching back a little bit over to the map here, one little concern I'm having with Passchendaele. It's awesome to see a very kind of small map. I've been leaning more and more as Battlefield has progressed into having really 5 capture point maps. I think when we had They Shall Not Pass came out, playing on maps like Fort Deville were really fun. These 5 capture points lean more onto the infantry mode. But unfortunately on this map there is a lot of little pieces of wood, a lot of the barbed wire, a lot of this really little things on the map that really prohibit your movement a lot. So I would definitely recommend probably switching to a melee weapon that allows you to break barbed wire, and pretty much want to be very careful around a lot of just anything outside of the trenches, because I've been finding myself getting jammed a lot. Normally when I play on smaller maps, I like Fort Deville because it felt very smooth and you weren't getting jammed around very easily. But because of the debris on Passchendaele, you will find yourself getting stuck just running, and you'll look down and see like it's a little piece of wood that's in your way or something like that. So that was the things I think that made Fort Deville really a really fun map, in my opinion, was that it was a smaller map, but it was, you run on concrete, and the rubble wasn't really getting in your way. And DICE is still has a problem, in my opinion, off of the movement, off of little things you want to maybe need to climb over. It can just be kind of a pain, and you find that a lot on this map, in my opinion. So a little bit more than I would have liked. Still like the map, but you definitely going to watch out for that. And something I would recommend you will want to do is definitely have a melee weapon that allows you to cut barbed wire, as there is a lot of barbed wire on this map. But now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swap teams here, as the player base was kind of small for this round that I was playing on, and then I'm going to actually switch to the RSC SMG, as that has experienced a little bit of buff already in the 2 CTEs that we've gotten to play. So this is going to be the new assault weapon coming to the Apocalypse DLC, and DICE has done a bit of a buff to it as of right now. So they've actually reduced some of the recoil for the vertical recoil on this gun, and that was definitely pretty heavy already when we were experiencing it. Some people already were basically complaining it's not going to be much of a gun to use, but with the buff, I have seen a significant improvement. They have even changed up the damage on it. That's going to allow you to get a 2-hit kill on it if you get a headshot and then a body shot. So I was definitely experiencing some gameplay with that already. So is it going to be, you know, challenging the more popular SMGs like the Hellriegel or the Automatico as much as what the SMG-08 is doing? Not quite sure. Don't think it's going to be the case for that. But if you do have a pretty solid aim, you definitely can be pretty impactful with this weapon. It's just mainly going to be more focused on a, you know, 1-versus-1 weapon, as there's only, you know, 9 shots in this gun. So you better be making sure that you are consistently getting a headshot over and over again against enemy players to really be able to, you know, get those multi-kills, get those quick kills in those close range where you're dealing with multiple enemy players. If you don't feel comfortable in doing that, you're probably going to want to move back maybe to, you know, maybe the Hellriegel, or, you know, if the SMG-08 stays the way it is now, you could probably do something with that, as you will have a lot of ammo with that gun and you won't have to really deal with having to reload. So this gun is still left with, you know, you going one-on-one with someone. You can do definitely some solid damage onto someone and definitely compete. But again, you're going to want to make sure that you have some pretty solid aim, and if you do have some solid aim, you can definitely, I think, maximize the potential when it comes to this weapon. So there was, again, like I said, the buff did make a pretty significant difference in my opinion, but not the amount that like the SMG-08 is doing. So if it does stay the exact same way, these two guns, when they reach the Apocalypse DLC for the retail version of BF1, I would be expecting a lot more assault players to be probably more hyped about the SMG-08 than the RSC SMG. So that's just how it's looking at right now, as I'm going to try to come over here and I'm going to finish off this cavalry class really quick, but I'm going to get punished from the side. As you can see, me putting on some solid shots on him right there. But I'm getting shot from the side. So that's what I see a lot. It's been happening with me. Unless I get myself this one-on-one with another player and no one else is around me, I'm doing some pretty solid damage. But it's when you have to deal with that extra player. I mean, unless you're getting some quick, you know, headshots where you're not having to use all your ammo on your gun. As you can see, I have to reload right now, making sure no one is around me. Fortunately, this light machine gun, or the support class, doesn't know where I'm at. And, you know, because of that, I'm able to reload and then fire at him again. That's kind of how the pace you're going to have to use to really, you know, work this gun as well as you can. But if you don't, have that option there, you better make sure that you are getting those, quick headshots so you don't have to reload and you still have bullets in your chamber. And, you know, you can definitely, hopefully then take out another 2 or 3 more players. So I'm going to take out that tank right there, as there are tanks on this map that haven't been changed at all. Still, each team has 1 tank. I actually swapped over to the mines on this round, as I had a situation where I was trying to take out an enemy tank and I was using the dynamite and the AT rocket gun and just wasn't able to finish them off. Had made mention this the first time I played this map and made a video about it, that I was leaning more on using dynamite and your AT rocket gun, as you'll experience more infantry players along the map, and those are, in my opinion, 2 better gadgets for the assault class to be using against infantry players. It still does significant damage against the tanks, but I found that rare instance where you just cannot take out the tank to save your life because there's enemy players around you and you have to shoot the enemy player while you're dropping, you know, the dynamite, and then while you're shooting the enemy player, the tank is then healing itself, and it's just, you know, a pain. So, you know, if you really want to take out a tank, you know, just drop the 18 mines. I do know they've already put a buff with the whole TTK patch up for the mines already, and they're a bit more powerful. than how they were originally. So I'm pretty sure I can just lay one mine down, and probably could have thrown one heavy anti-tank mine. If not, I could definitely have thrown my second one, would have been a finish off that tank. So that was a little bit unnecessary. I haven't quite gotten over to some of the mine stuff when it comes to the TTK patch for the assault class. So definitely interesting thing you want to keep in mind, but you know, I don't see it really necessary to really still carry around mines. Those are some rare instances to, you know, take a little bit longer to take out the tank, and I think you're better off still at assault class rocking the dynamite and the anti-tank rocket gun, as you know, you'll be able to, you know, pick off maybe some scout classes that are posting up using your anti-tank rocket gun, and then getting those high multi-kills when you know, flanking enemy players, and you draw that stick of dynamite in there, which is still one of the funnest things in my opinion to do on Battlefield 1. So yeah, definitely some pretty interesting stuff when it comes to just the assault class's perspective, as I'm going to flank around here and catch some of the enemy players off to the side. And the only one really a big concern to still have in this weapon is still, I'm getting a lot of like 90s, 99s when it comes to me blasting enemy players with this gun. It's usually weapons that I try to stay away from. When I get them, you know, really low, and you know, I don't quite finish my kill on them, and I got to reload. And that's part of probably a little bit having to do, you know, with the position I am on the map with the bullet drop when it comes to the gun. And I'm sure, you know, you'll be able to, if you get used to the weapon, you can still, you know, find that sweet spot with that range where you don't get caught in those weird like 90, you know, point damage on enemy players. But you saw me there just a little bit get caught onto the barbed wire there. As I had said before, there's a lot of that on the map. It doesn't take you too long to experience that. And you do want to make sure that you are carrying a weapon that will hopefully, that you know, you can use to break down barbed wire, as I think that will definitely help you out a little bit. Last thing you need to do is be running around, going through barbed wire where it damages you by 40 points, and then you're out in the open, and the scout class can easily shoot you in the foot and get a kill on you. So definitely wanted to try to avoid that. But basically, after swapping teams, I actually helped this team to come back. It probably didn't help either that the teams got a little bit out of balance, and there's more players that actually made it onto the losing team at the kind of halfway point there. So yeah, definitely with me swapping over and having more players on that team now, it kind of just made the whole game out of balance, and we actually had a really long game, and that's kind of the reason why I had to cut this up, as it turned out to be like a 30-minute game that we had here. But yeah, we had to do coming back here, as I was still sticking with the anti-tank mines, and this guy's on my mini map. I'm gonna come over here and finish him off really quick, and then I'm gonna end up posting out over here and dealing with a light machine gun that's gonna keep trying to push over into try to push out from his home spawn. Still don't like how close the elite class behemoth spawn is on either side of the teams. Really want to see them push far back, so far back that, you know, the enemy team can't run up there and grab it. So hopefully Dice does something about that. But there's a situation right there where I get enemy player down to 99. That's what I was talking about there a second ago. I don't really like experiencing that, and that's a little bit to have to do with, you know, again, the aim on this gun. You got to make sure you have a solid aim on this gun. You don't have room for error, as obviously I had to switch to, you know, my secondary weapon, and, you know, by then, too late, the other enemy player came around to the side, and even then, you know, I didn't have enough ammo to deal with him, so I was have to rely really heavily on using the gasser to hopefully take out that enemy player. We don't know if that would have happened. So but this is what let's talk about right here. Got a support class who's pushing up. I was waiting for him there, and you know, there's nothing to be able to do. Another one's coming around again, or he's gonna come around here in a second here, and I'm actually gonna be able to finish him off again. So again, a good one-on-one weapon, but will it be able to handle multiple enemy players? Probably not. You know, unless you're having a god aim, but even then, it's still, you know, gonna have a lot of reload time. So nothing set in stone from Dice, of course. This is only in the CTE, so we'll see what turns out here in the future. Do want to make note about the cavalry class on this map, as I don't believe it was on there originally when we first were playing this on the CTE. After they did the update with the textures, I have been noticing that there are cavalry classes. Could have been wrong, but do want to brush up on that, as we do have the cavalry class on this map, and that is definitely pretty interesting. But not quite sure how strong it's going to be, like I think it's going to be on Caporetto, where I think the cavalry class is going to play a big part on that map. mainly because I don't think there's quite as much as there are on Caporetto, but as well just how the terrain on this map is. Like I said, there are so many little things you bump into, and I mean, there are cavalry classes that do have the skill and temperance to discover these pathways on the map, but like I said, just on this map in itself, it feels very just congested, I would say. And yeah, definitely would want to, you know, keep an eye out for that if you do like playing the cavalry class, that there is, you know, to discover those pathways and stick to them, because from my little experience, I felt like I was getting myself just jammed normally running around with an infantry player. That's not to mention running around with the horse, as in, you know, past history, horses have had their moments on getting stuck on, you know, a little pebble on the ground. So but that's basically it for you guys today. That is a look at Passchendaele as I run across a tree engulfed in flames, which again, DICE, I love how they just, again, always hit it when it comes to how these maps look, and they definitely give a great feel to them. But again, I appreciate you guys being here. My name's Livin, and I'll catch you guys again later. Peace.